Feels that bad.
Well, it was really cold earlier, so no.
I plugged them in and didn't plug this together, so.
Yeah. I think I got nothing to talk about for that, so.
Okay, we're really careful.
Good to go. All right. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's regular meeting of the Board of Education, Monday, February 10, 2025. We have met official notification. Roll call, please.
Here. Nichols.
Here.
Gallagher.
Here.
Sarah Schumer McComb.
Here.
And President Alton.
Here. This time, would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education held in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for comments by members of the public during the meeting as indicated on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to address the board on any of the topics included on tonight's agenda may do so by signing up on the public comments sign-up sheet by the entrance prior to the start of the meeting. The board requests refraining from making any comments involving personally identifiable information about students, staff, or administration. Comments should be respectful, focused on the items being considered by the board, and will be restricted to 3 minutes in length. Are there any comments from members of the public this evening?
No.
And we shall move on. Action taken at today's meeting will be final approval unless otherwise noted. Disposition of minutes from January 13, 2025.
You scroll through.
Motion to accept.
Second. Motion second to accept the disposition of minutes from January 13, 2025. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next is a report of our superintendent.
I have a handful of items tonight. So first we'll start with Principal Rich. Welcome. Update from Northern Lights
And Nancy.
and Nancy Benner.
So Nancy is joining me today because she is going through her admin certification process. So I'm more moral support for her today. Collaborative. It is. We'll share. So we're excited to share what's going on with Northern Lights.
Pressure.
Could you maybe put that in present view? Yep. Thank you. There we go.
Okay, so we have a lot to celebrate at Northern Lights, starting with our decrease in referrals, both major and minor. You can see it's a significant decrease over the past couple of years. And as we know, as the referrals decrease and behaviors get better, so does the learning and the outcomes for students. Along with that, celebrating our attendance as of January 24th, 82% of Northern Lights students have had 10 or fewer absences. They're in class, the more they're learning. And within the building, we're also celebrating attendance monthly at our Junior Spartan assemblies, where grade levels are recognized and also the top 3 classrooms are recognized. And my class has benefited from this almost every month. So they are definitely coming to school. And then the last thing we wanted to highlight tonight was that Northern Lights was selected as the Project Aware school for the district, and the second and third grade teams will be the ones that are participating in this work.
Can I talk a little bit about that?
Yep.
So DPI has asked a district in each CISA to kind of pilot this project, and it's about organizational well-being. So taking care of the adults who take care of our kids and being really intentional about what different structures look like in order to do that for staff. So we're kind of the pilot, and they suggested we start with one school, and so we're working with Northern Lights to really pilot specifically how the self-inventory of our organizational well-being there can help kind of drive some improvements. And if we feel there's some success and there's some good outcomes of that, we can expand that to other schools next fall. But we're starting small. So thank you for being that pilot. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So lots to celebrate. We're also in our winter celebration, playing outside. We're growing them tough here in northern Wisconsin. Going outside today, tomorrow, the next day for a little bit. Some of the challenges that we have going on right now, of which 82% of our kids have 10 or fewer absences, but we still are seeing some challenges getting our younger learners to school because of some transportation barriers. Continuing to brainstorm and work around that. I feel like those conversations take up most of my week. Still, just what else can we do? What else can we try? And then something that pairs with that is just the limited community resources, outside of the school district to help support and promote attendance. So what else is in the community? We work with Brooke Fitzgerald at the county, and she's really, she has 3 youth worker or child workers under her. But she also supports 3 districts. So they're spread pretty thin too when it comes to attendance. And really the goal is, offering support. If we can't figure out how to help them, then that's when the county gets involved to figure out how can the county help them. So it's just everyone's spread kind of thin. So that's a challenge that we're working through right now. Progress on our academic goals. I wasn't able to share in September what our goals were. I think when you guys came to the school for your tour by our Northern Lights ambassadors, we were able to share that our goal is we want to increase the amount of students that are achieving above that 25th percentile. And at the beginning of the year, our baseline, we had 66% of our kids. We wanted to get to 70 for reading and from 75% to 78% in math. And our progress right now, and it's not a complete full picture, but we're on track. Right now, we're in reading, we're about 72% of our students are above the 25th percentile. And in math, we're at around 76%. So we're moving in the right direction. So that's really exciting. How we're getting there, and I'm going to have Nancy turn it over to Nancy, but maybe Nancy, tell them a little bit more in case they don't know, that your background.
Oh,
Too, like just that you're teaching and
my teaching,
like how this impacts.
Okay, so for the PLC work, so being new to Northern Lights, so to get at our continuous improvement plan, we're focusing on our work around the PLCs. And we've been doing this work in Superior for a long time. However, at Northern Lights this year, 4 out of 6 of our teams are new to each other. So, and 2 of us are new, and 2 people in half of those teams are new to the building. So just reestablishing that those PLC norms and how your teams work together has been really helpful in strengthening your team so that your teams can work well together so that you can do good things for your kids. And at Northern Lights, the staff meetings, there's an agenda, there's a flow throughout the whole school year to address PLC types of things. And that's being led by the shared leadership team. And part of that process is, teachers are coming saying, hey, we need more help with this, or what about this? And so the shared leadership team has reached out to grade level teams who they know are doing some things that might be helpful when teachers are asking, like, what are you doing at the teacher table when all the other kids are doing X? So grade levels have shared out, well, here's our strategy, here's our process, this is how we are doing it. And the other thing that we brought to help strengthen your PLC conversations is part of our data digs. So our data digs looking into how the kids are doing based on interventions, what you're doing in the classroom. Kids, you're like, okay, we need to do more. What else can we do? We've established a protocol that we rolled out this month to be more efficient in those meetings, to make sure that we're holding each other accountable for what we say that we're going to do for those kids. So we just started that this month. So we'll see how that goes to help strengthen our PLCs.
That's a nutshell, a snapshot.
That's a quick nutshell. Girl.
I watched last one's. What questions do you guys have?
I will use this moment to make a plug. I was going to share it at the end of our board meeting, but this actually flows perfectly. One of the classes that I went to down at our convention was about absentees. And Whitewater in particular shared something that their board did, and that I think would be something to consider for our district as well. It was due to transportation. They were seeing a lot of those issues as well. And their board decided to put, I think it was $40,000, but again, it could be any amount of money towards extra transportation for those kids who are absent because of transportation issues. So they would get, in essence, a voucher type thing where they would get transportation for 6 weeks. If they saw that it was helping and that the kid was in school because of it, then they would continue receiving that service. If not, they would lose that service. In particular, every time we've come to Northern Lights and some of our other schools, that's obviously a barrier for some of the families. And I think it's something that as a board, we can consider, or should consider, honestly, a small way to get kids in the building and keep them there. So I thought that was a really unique thing that Whitewater did. They did say that the board had to be very strong in that decision, because you will have a neighbor that sees that another student is being picked up and they'll say, why are they getting picked up? Why can't my child be picked up? And that's hard, because then we as a board and educators have to say every child has a different need. Every family is in a different situation. And so again, it's something that if we considered, we would have to be able to back that and hold, to that standard. So, but I thought that was a really cool way to potentially think of those kids.
And Pat's been fantastic.
Mhm.
He's been very creative and helping come up with ideas and put spots in. It's just, there's the few here and there.
Mhm. Yep.
Just
And I appreciate the extra stops, but they're just those families that need that little bit of extra.
But easy way to get me set up is.
Mhm.
I will
Sure.
call, but it's
Sure.
to say they're in separate programs.
Yeah.
That's why you're.
Yeah. But just, trying to problem solve. There are ways to do it. And so I appreciated that from Whitewater. So, yeah.
anything else?
Well, thank you for joining the journey into the dark side of administration.
I know, right?
It's a wonderful profession.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, who do we have next? We have you up next, our student representative from high school.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. I guess one big thing, this Wednesday, we're having Unity Day, which Hope Squad is here to kind of talk more about. But this is our second year doing it. We did it 2 years ago and it went really well. So we're just hoping that it'll go better this year and have good attendance. But we'll have a speaker, Tasha Shu, talking about overcoming challenges and improving mental health, and then a bunch of other activities throughout the day. We'll also have a snowball dance that night, if students buy enough tickets this time. But another thing, we have a blood drive at the school next Friday. Pledge Makers is hosting Winterfest at Monolac. That will be tubing and hot cocoa. There's high school musical auditions at the end of the month. Open gyms for spring sports are in action, and then the spring sports meeting is at the beginning of March. The general high school scholarship deadline is this Wednesday. Mock trial made it to state. That's a little celebration, and they'll be competing at the end of this month. Superior Days, students are going to Madison this week to represent Superior at Superior Days. And then a little update, we did do a student survey. asking students about their overall concerns, celebrations about the school, and their personal opinions. And we've looked over the results, and we're going to set up a meeting with Principal Fezzi to analyze those and make a plan for the next steps. And I can share this information at the next meeting.
Thank you, Taylor. All right.
Thank you for adding the survey to that. I'm interested to see what the results are as well.
Imagine what some of them say.
And for Amy's got to filter them first.
Oh, I'm not. I'm nothing. I'm nothing to do with it. All right. Our last presentation is an update from Hope Squad. Is Student Council here too, or is this Hope Squad premium? No, Hope Squad. You're both. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are going to give us an update on Unity Day, right? Right. Thanks for being here.
I'm guessing one of you is in mock trial.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
So on Wednesday this week, we're having Unity Day. And every month, Hope Squad has a theme to promote values of positive mental health. So this month, our word is inclusivity. So we're focusing on how you practice inclusivity and what that means and what that looks like within the school.
Just have a quick video, and this is going out to all of the classrooms before the actual Unity Day activities start, so they know what they can expect for the day.
Hey Spartans, do you remember the Unity Day retreat from 2 years ago? Well, we're bringing it back. Hope Squad and Student Council are bringing you the Unity Day retreat on February 12th.
Every month, Hope Squad has a theme to highlight values that reflect positive mental health. This month's theme is inclusivity, and what better way to show that than Unity Day? Inclusivity is the practice of providing equal respect, value, and access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized.
Your day will begin in your 4th hour of class, where you will receive your schedule for the rest of the day. It is important to attend your assigned activities listed on your schedule. It will be broken up into multiple choice sessions, which include bracelet making, board games, calming and coping strategies, arts and crafts, basketball, volleyball, and much more. Also, we are so lucky to have the opportunity to hear from Tasha Shu.
You are important and that you are here for a reason.
Who will speak about overcoming challenges and improving mental health.
This event is scheduled to take place for the entire day. But don't worry, your lunch is still at its usual time that it would be even without this going on.
We are so excited to be able to provide a free Unity Day t-shirt to every SHS student. So make sure to pick them up and show off some Spartan pride. Remember, all school rules still apply, so phones are away for the day. Ultimately, though, we really hope that this day is enjoyable for you and that you take something away from it that is beneficial to you. We want to have a positive impact on the Spartan community.
We can't wait to see you there, Spartans!
So we're starting off with what is unity? So the definition is the state or fact of being united or combined into one as parts of whole. And unification is oneness of mind and feeling. And so the importance of this is that unity builds a strong foundation and motivation, and it's essential for achievement and change.
And then inclusivity, our word of the month, is the practice of providing equal respect, value, and access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized, like I already said, such as those with physical disabilities or intellectual disabilities or people part of minority groups. The importance is inclusivity cultivates a sense of belonging and community, and it enhances productivity and catalyzes innovation and creativity.
So in the first hour that students are going to, after watching the video, they're going to participate in this activity led by their teacher for the hour. They're going to put together what's called a word cloud, including words that make them think of inclusivity or how they practice inclusivity. So For our example, we have words such as communication, kindness, fostering diversity, and being yourself.
And at the end, we'll be collecting all of the classes' word bubbles, and we're going to be printing them out, and we'll have them around the school just to show people's idea of inclusivity. That's our Unity Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Great.
I know a lot of the middle school families, I think, got letters about joining the Hope Squad, so that's pretty exciting. I know lots of kids and parents were very proud, so very cool.
All right, well, good luck on Wednesday, you guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks. All right,
Opportunity.
that concludes my report.
Thank you. Operations Committee, Mr. Pat Gillen, you are up. Come on down.
Well, hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Pat Gillen.
Just so you know, Anne is adjusting the presentation so that the public can see we're doing better. So that's why we're working through that tonight. I just wanted to know what was going on.
I think that's great because people online can't see what we're seeing.
Yes. We had a little meeting about that.
All right. So first off, this is every year we have a ugly sweater contest, and this is about half my staff for the Christmas potluck. But we got about 24 full-time drivers, 3 full-time aides, and they handle about 29 routes. 25 of those are what we call Jet Ed and our midday routes. And then finally, we also have another 4 routes that are sped. Those are all our buses that will have a lift bus on it. And so for a total of 29. So we also, every year, we have what we call our haunted bus. And so any school, the elementary school that'll have us, all our drivers, they volunteer, they dress up, they decorate their bus, and they hand out candy that's donated to us by food service. And I think we did 4 or 5 this last year. So I think everyone really enjoys it, works out pretty well. For equipment, we have a total of 37 buses. 12 of those being diesel and 22 of propane. So that's right around the sweet spot that we like to have, about 30 to 40% in diesel and the rest being in propane. The main reason we do have a difference is that if we only have 2 places that we can fill up propane, and if one of those goes down, it's going to take out our fleet. So we do want a little bit of speed. Average age of our fleet is 7 years and average mileage is 116,000.
When do you typically switch out a bus? What's the mileage?
We don't have a set, but not much makes it past 250.
Okay, just curious.
So usually it's kind of more we're unique in the fact that we have a lot of city miles. We also have a lot of rural miles, and the more rural miles they get, the faster they go.
Yeah, okay.
For support, we'll start off with so we have Fabric Garage, and that is where we. That's where we keep the majority of our buses. We have an excellent relationship with Fabric. We don't pay any rent for storing our buses in a secure compound, and we have a mechanic or basically retainer that is on site that will help us every morning. So it's great.
Can I ask a question about that? 7 years ago, we were paying a really high cost in maintenance. So that's why we had to shift over and have a plan for replacing our buses. Are you seeing our maintenance costs go down as a result of our bus fleet?
Every time we get a new shipment, so we've had these yes.
Okay,
to answer your
because
question.
Fabic's the one who's servicing our buses. So
Correct.
we're seeing that.
And we're also able at Fabric, we can scale up and down as needed, and which I don't think they could before with their own set mechanics.
okay.
So. But yeah, so we also keep buses at Mariner Mall and at Four Corners. And then finally we have Voyager, who currently they do half a route every day. And as needed, if we ask them, they can also cover another route. So help us for covering shifts. the background of the map, you can see some spot, I took a snapshot and it highlights our park stops. So any of those blue dots up there, those are park stops that we started. And those are all, we have 4 for Northern Lights, and then the yellow on the right, that's Great Lakes. So we have 3 stops for there. And then we just added one 2 weeks ago for Bryant. And I'm open to, if there's a need, we'll try to meet it. So anytime someone asks. So. But for fuel, we have propane, which mainly is at the middle school. We have an 18,000 gallon tank, and that's where we do all our filling. We have another smaller one at Four Corners that's 1,000 gallons. And the diesel, we get everything at Quick Trip, or if it's somewhere out there or rural, it would be Four Corners. And then finally, the safety, which is what drives the department, literally. So to start off with, our stop arm violation is probably our #1 concern. And we have a really good, excellent relationship with both the Superior Police Department and the county sheriff. They use our footage that we get, and they find people who did it and use it in court.
Has that amount gone up or down lately, or is it pretty stable?
I think it's 300, I believe. Oh,
The amount of incidents. Are you saying that that's pretty steady?
It's the same.
Okay.
Usually it's spring and fall, I think, when people are just, they don't pay attention.
Okay.
So I'd say if we get 3 to 5 a week at that time, it still surprises me that it still happens. People just don't pay attention. And like this, they're going through slow. I mean, the red light shining, but.
Well, I will say the process that we switched to this year for you guys reporting
with the sheriff or the
bus violations with the county actually has helped us be able to actually write citations and go out to those people more than we have in years present.
What's changed?
We're getting an email right away with the infraction, with the video and with the pictures, where before they go through a process of being faxed to different buildings, and it might be a couple of days before we get them, but now it seems like they're more instantaneous and we're getting all the data at one time.
And we get a call back right away.
So it's actually very easy for us to go after them there.
Oops. Say that again. So yeah, that we have that process down. Another one for me is emotional well-being, and that relates to any time we find out anything with bullying or anything of that aspect, we try to investigate it right away and get resolution immediately, because I think the bus is kind of one of those, you shouldn't be concerned or worried about anything going on in that bus on your way home. The problem I had with this, once the video stops, I don't have my notes anymore.
Can we push pause on the video?
And then also last year, I mentioned, so we did start a new weather policy that was all winter weather should be restricted to the weekend and holiday. Mainly it has worked, but we're working on the cold weather now because that's slipping out. So on days like tomorrow, as our buses finish up their routes, they're going to be looking for anyone walking so they can just give them a ride to school, which usually everyone is pretty appreciative. And then, as I said before, anytime we find out about park stop, we'll add it wherever it's needed. And then as our fleet gets newer, it's less breakdowns, and that lets everything stay on schedule. And especially on cold days like tomorrow, a breakdown is actually very scary.
Do you find that park stops have been well utilized, or does it depend on the Northern Lights?
I'd say we get 15 to 20, 22 per day.
Okay.
Great Lakes, we have 1, and Bryant, we have 1.
Are we supporting CASDA for Great Lakes?
Whatever we find out,
Okay.
Usually I work with Kerosene on that one, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're saying if your bus drivers see kids walking, they'll stop and.
Correct. Especially on the cold like that, no questions asked. Doesn't matter what school you go to, if you need a ride. Okay. Thanks for doing that.
So as far as staffing goes, I know we just received like a postcard. What are you looking at? What are the struggles?
Probably right now.
Okay.
Depending, and then I know 1 retirement. I wouldn't surprise if I get another one. It takes a month and a half.
Because they have to go through the whole training, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I really use.
And so are we utilizing Voyager more right now because we're short, or not necessarily?
I'm using them tomorrow. This will be the 5th time in 6 days. Before this, I haven't used it at all this year.
They've been a really good partner, but We
Yeah.
that probably put a strain on their fleet too. Right.
So you're saying you're using Voyager. Is it just a random person every day you use them, or is it somebody that's trained on routes, or what is
Is it
it?
the owner or one of his sons?
And he loves us, so.
He does. We-
Regular.
And so would these be like a normal person that kids would recognize as they're getting picked up?
So originally they were gonna be doing a route full-time for us, started off this year, so it's basically a route and a half. And then 2 weeks before school started, they said they couldn't do it. And so we were able to absorb that, but now I am in that same spot. And so, and they don't have any extra drivers either. It's the owner or one of his sons that they can tell.
And they've been doing that for us for a long time. So if you're a regular, if you've been in the district for a while, they would be someone you'd recognize. Obviously, if you're younger, you probably wouldn't recognize them because they'd be a sub.
We've been working with Voyager for a very long time. Mike Kreis has always been there for Superior.
He really, really appreciates our district.
Yeah, he's been able to reach out to him if I got any questions too, that either Dave and I don't know. Yeah, he's excellent. Just like, yeah, both them and Fabic.
Thanks.
Yes, Pat.
Thank you, Pat.
Need a motion?
Motion to Operations Committee report.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the Operations Committee report. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The Budget Insurance Committee report, action items, gifts, grants, and bequests. Administration recommends approval to accept gifts, grants, and bequests received in January 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to accept the gifts, grants, and bequests. Is there any further discussion? Duly noted last time that this is a large list again. Just thank you so much to all of our community members and everybody that donates to our school district. Motion in a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. There was one discussion item, second Friday count, January 2025. Did we have the total number from first Friday count to, what did I miss? This one,
You mean in September?
yeah,
It was exactly 20 or 3,900. Is that what you mean?
yes. So the 187,
Right, Casey? She's multitasking over there. You ignoring me or multitasking?
Getting your.
Put that on the record.
Yeah.
people count.
Was 3,897, so that would be compared to the 3,867.
So 30,
Yeah.
It's giving you,
all right,
because of your facial expressions.
thank you. Informational items, Fund 10 revenue and expenditure reports. David gave us a quick overture of what is happening in each one of those reports.
Motion to approve the Budget Insurance Committee report.
Second.
So second to approve the Budget Insurance Committee report. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Legislative Committee, there was just one informational item in a legislative priorities list.
Make a motion to approve Legislative Committee report.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the Legislative Committee report. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Personnel Negotiations Committee, action item, administration recommends renewal of the administrator contracts.
Motion to renew the administrative contracts.
Second.
Motion second to approve the renewal of all administrator contracts. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Motion to accept the personnel and negotiations report.
Second.
Motion second to accept personnel negotiations report. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Teaching and Learning Committee informational items at the Committee of the Whole on February 3rd, 2025. Updates were provided on the following. new teacher support. Crystal Hensman, from Director of Curriculum and Instruction, gave us new plans that they are going to institute. The AGR, the Achievement Gap Reduction.
Look that up before.
No, I saw Kate and I just confirmed. Yeah. Kate Tesh, from Director of our Continuous Improvement Assessment, gave us a update on the AGR and the plans moving forward with our new strategic plan. Summer school and 4K enrollment, Jennifer Willoughby, Director of Early Childhood and Family Education, gave an update on that program as well.
Motion to approve teaching and learning committee report.
Second.
Motion was second to approve the Teaching and Learning Committee report. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Other reports by members of the board.
I wanted to go over a couple of things from the delegate assembly. Everybody was in favor of passing them all. As I got into it, and it does say that each active member board should determine its position on each of the recommended resolutions so as to give direction to the board's official delegate. It is also suggested that official delegates be given discretionary latitude by their respective boards to vote on amendments or other resolutions. And so I wanted to bring forth two of them that I did change the vote on, just because of discussion that did happen in session. One was the resolution decoupling public and private school funding. I changed the vote to no because as people were presenting, they were unaware of the damage to public education if decoupled. It could possibly be a negative repercussion to public education, and it could actually potentially in turn help vouchers more than we know. So in that regard, after hearing people speak on that, I thought I'm going to change my vote. So, and then it did end up failing as well. So,
One vote.
no. And then another one, I did change the vote to no as well, and it was the accountability and school report card standards. It was basically talking about how they wanted to advocate that school report cards were based on scores only. And again, we all seem to be in agreement that the system is broken, but basing it on just scores solely wasn't necessarily what we wanted to advocate for, because we know that growth is also important and those things need to be measured as well. So not just the scores. And that did end up then failing as well. So just wanted to update the board on those two that I did change the vote on and how they ended up. So the rest passed. So
Thank you for doing that, Brooke. Any other reports by the board members? I'd like to thank David Coy for the piece that he put together with all of our thoughts and comments from our trip to Milwaukee, the school board meeting. So recognize that. Other district program highlights, maybe anything?
One, I just wanted to thank Brooke and Ed. You guys attended a session with Romaine Quinn a couple weeks ago. I just thought you were really strong advocates for our school district. So thanks for being there. We tried to get our concerns raised and our priorities articulated. And so we've shared that with him as a joint finance committee will be starting to meet here in the weeks ahead. So thank you for being there and being strong advocates for us. We ended semester 2, so report cards have gone out. Lori Dons is our school forest teacher who just was recognized in Education Week, national publication highlighting schools across the country. So that was cool to see her highlight our school forest highlighted in that. I think she's got a presentation coming to the board here in a couple months to give an update on the school forest. We've got a handful of kids and staff at Superior Days right now, so that's exciting, advocating on behalf of K-12 public school funding. And we are working through a community food drive right now with the Salvation Army and other food shelves. It's intended to be as student-driven as possible. It's not intended to be a burden on principals, teachers, or secretaries. I recognize there's still logistics that they need to help with. Trying to get the word out how we can serve back our community that always supports our school district. So we'll see how that goes. And we'll see see what we get done there. But, yeah, so it's busy time here.
Thank you. Consideration of bills and pre-approved bills.
Motion to pay the bills. Again.
Motion and second to pay the bills. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Reminder, the next committee of the whole meeting will be Monday, March 3rd, and the regular school board meeting will not be until Monday, March 17th. This time I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much for being here. Have a good night.